Part two of the engine Type 1 bug rebuild. It's a 1756 cc. It's got 90.5 millimeter pistons, so the stock crank. We've already checked all the rods for straightness. And so I'm just going to show in this video how to check some things before you build it. I got my helper here. Hold the phone. Let me show people. So if you want to check your rod straightness, you can do two at a time. Slide your pin through, and if it slides through both rods, your rods are straight. If they won't slide through, and you have a real hard time with it, right now it has no oil on it at all. So,
You want some Earl?
yeah, I need some WD-40 or some light oil. It's just real tight clearances. So if it won't slide through, you have a bent rod. There's definitely a problem that you're going to have to address before you assemble the engine. As you can see, the bushing slides through in and out. So you know you got straight rods. Like I said, these rods, two of them were upside down. The 1 and 3 were upside down, so the bars were upside down. The other thing you're going to want to check is your dowels in your case. Make sure they're tight. This case ended up being not so bad after all. We ended up with 3 thousandths on plastic gauge on the crank main. We're going to use it, and also on the crank, on the main right here, you want to always check the thrust, which is your play of the rear main bearing. This is super important. You want to make sure that this bearing, when it's installed, fits nice and tight down in there. When it's all the way down, that there's no play back and forth. That's your thrust. If you have play, you've got to get thrust cut, and you're going to need new bearings. Other than that, you're going to want to install your distributor drive. Distributor, I'm going to show that in the next video, but you're going to want to install your distributor drive in here, have it all the way installed, and the distributor on number 1 when you're installing this all, because you don't want to try to get these in after the fact, because the washers get in the way, and it's got 2 washers. Don't screw up and only put 1 washer on, or you'll end up burning up your distributor drive gear. So this is not all the way seated. I'm going to pull it back out and put some oil in there, assembly lube. So make sure all your dowels are in the case and they're pulled when you clean the case. People are just going to say, oh, I don't like that silicone. Silicone steel cases. I've used Permatex hundreds of times, and Permatex always ends up leaking. 500 horse turbo race motors with silicone and not a gasket on the whole motor, and they never leak. So I use silicone. I use some good high temp silicone. I happen to be using gray, but I've used red in the past. So whatever color you want to use, as long as it's high temp silicone. The Aviation Permatex. This guy had Permatex everywhere, inside the case, underneath the case. He didn't install the O-rings on the main studs, which is super important. It comes in the package with all your oil cooler O-rings, and these O-rings, black or white, but the right size, go around these 12 millimeter studs. I'm sorry, these are 10s. Go around those and they slide all the way down to the base where you can see it's tapered. And then the oil from coming out through the block. Now we also, on the outside of the case, base of each washer, because sometimes oil will try to leak through and get up in there. Now this one's not super studded. We're put in with inserts. All these 10 millimeter studs were put in with inserts. And yeah, those are 12 millimeter, by the way, on the case, but put in with inserts, so they're fine. You always got to check that and make sure none of these are loose. This one's already been bored out for the 90.5s. And there's one that's loose. You can super stud it. They still make super studs, but it's best to get 8 millimeter super studs or have time certs put in your block. So next part we're going to show crank. Install the lifters. distributor and everything before we seal the case up.